It all started in 1988. Most Americans were barely noticing pennies anymore. The world was changing fast. Big hair, cassette tapes, and a new generation of collectors were just starting to notice mistakes at the mint. And somewhere, deep in the machinery of the U.S. Mint, a tiny oversight occurred, a missing mint mark on a Lincoln penny that would later shock collectors worldwide. For years, this penny circulated like any other. It jingled in jars, clinked in registers, and collected dust under couch cushions. No one suspected it was special. But collectors are patient. They notice details others overlook. And when this coin finally surfaced in the early 2000s, jaws dropped. It wasn't flashy. It wasn't coated in gold. It was a small, copper Lincoln penny, almost indistinguishable from every other 1988 cent. But the absence of a mint mark, the tiny D or S, that should have appeared near Lincoln's bust, transformed it into a treasure of almost mythical status. One man's pocket change became $1 million miracle. The story of its discovery reads like fiction. A collector named Mark, digging through his childhood jars of pennies, noticed something odd. At first, he thought it was just worn or faded. But something about the coin's shine, its alignment, the subtle gap where the mint mark should have been, made him pause. He took it to a dealer, who turned pale. Dealers are not supposed to get excited by pennies. Yet here they were, examining a coin that could sell for millions. And what happened next stunned the entire coin world. The coin went to auction, and bidders fought like treasure hunters in a gold rush. Phones rang off the hook, emails flooded inboxes, and within minutes, the penny's price skyrocketed. Offers of hundreds of thousands of dollars turned into $1 million bidding war. Collectors were shocked, dealers were scrambling, and the media couldn't get enough. Stories ran on financial websites, in local newspapers, and even on late-night news segments. The 1988 no-mint mark Lincoln penny became a symbol of hidden wealth, the ultimate check your couch cushions coin. But here's the kicker most people miss. Not all 1988 no-mint mark pennies are worth millions. There's a very specific detail that separates an ordinary penny from $1 million miracle. The alignment, the die strike, and even the condition must all meet nearly perfect standards. A worn coin loses tens of thousands instantly. A tiny scratch can mean the difference between $1 million sale and an ordinary collector's piece. This penny also carries the aura of a story. Imagine, for a moment, the mint worker who unknowingly created this treasure. For them, it was just another day, another batch. But their small mistake turned into a legacy, a coin that would sit in collectors' hands decades later and be worth more than a house in some parts of the country. And the suspense doesn't end there. Even seasoned collectors sometimes misidentify this penny. They see a faded 1988 cent and assume it's ordinary. But it's that tiny, almost invisible omission, the missing mint mark, that carries its true value. And that's why this coin is still sought after today. Even now, dealers and collectors scan every coin roll, every loose penny, hoping to find the next $1 million miracle. Imagine holding it in your hand. Not just a coin, but a piece of history. Not just a penny, but proof that life-changing wealth can hide in the smallest places. One man's forgotten coin jar became the story of a lifetime, and yours could be hiding in plain sight. First, check the obverse side, the side with Lincoln's portrait. If there is no mint mark under the date, take a closer look. The coin should have a crisp die strike, with clear details in Lincoln's coat and the words, "In God We Trust." Slight wear or damage dramatically lowers the value. Dealers always look for coins graded high in condition, typically MS65 or above. Even a minor imperfection can mean losing hundreds of thousands. Compare it to a confirmed 1988 penny with a mint mark. The difference is subtle, almost invisible to the untrained eye, but it's there. And when you see it, you'll realize why collectors are willing to spend millions chasing this coin. Wealth and history are often hidden in plain sight. A coin no bigger than a thumb could carry the fortune of a lifetime. The 1988 no-mint mark Lincoln penny isn't just a coin, it's proof that careful eyes, patience, and a little bit of luck can uncover treasures that change lives. This exact penny could be sitting in your drawer right now, and it's worth over $1 million. So dig through your jars, check those old coin rolls, and don't overlook the ordinary. Because sometimes, the ordinary hides the extraordinary. That's exactly what happened with the 2017 D-Mint Mark Lincoln penny, a coin so rare that collectors around the country are still stunned by its story. It all started at the US Mint, where billions of pennies are produced every year. Most of these coins pass through the system unnoticed, ending up in pockets, jars, and cash registers. But in 2017, a small, seemingly innocent minting error went completely under the radar, until a lucky collector noticed something extraordinary. Collectors were shocked when the error was discovered. It wasn't obvious at first glance. The coin looked like every other 2017 penny, shiny, copper-colored, Abraham Lincoln staring calmly from the front. But there was a tiny detail, a minuscule flaw in the D-Mint mark itself. Experts describe it as a slight doubling, almost imperceptible, but enough to make this coin a one-of-a-kind. Dealers are rushing to get their hands on this coin because the rarity of the 2017 D penny is off the charts. Normally, modern pennies aren't worth more than a few cents. But this tiny detail transformed an everyday piece of change into a $1 million miracle. One man's pocket change became the centerpiece of a bidding war that left collectors across the country gasping. But what happened next stunned the entire coin world. A small auction house in New York got their hands on one of these pennies, and the bidding started innocuously enough. The initial bids were modest, because very few people even knew this coin existed. Then something unbelievable happened. Collectors who had been quietly monitoring rare penny news jumped in, and the price skyrocketed. By the time the hammer fell, the penny had sold for close to $1 million. People couldn't believe it. A coin minted in 2017, barely 3 years old at the time, suddenly became one of the most valuable Lincoln pennies ever discovered. The story spread like wildfire. Social media posts showed shocked collectors holding the coin, their jaws dropping. Headlines read, "From pocket change to $1 million treasure." And the world of numismatics would never be the same. But what makes this penny so special isn't just the auction price. It's the mystery behind it. How did this tiny minting error slip past the millions of coins produced each day? How did it remain undiscovered for so long? Experts believe it was a perfect storm of human oversight and production anomaly. This coin is a reminder that sometimes, even the most ordinary objects can hold extraordinary secrets. Imagine finding a coin like this in your own pocket change. Imagine realizing that the copper disc in your hand could be worth more than your car, your mortgage, or a year's salary. That's exactly the thrill collectors felt, and the excitement is contagious. One simple observation, one careful glance under a magnifying glass, can transform a mundane penny into a $1 million masterpiece. This tiny detail is why it's worth millions, and most people miss it. The D-Mint mark on the 2017 penny is slightly doubled, almost imperceptible to the untrained eye. That imperfection is exactly what makes it priceless. Every line, every curve of the mint mark matters. Collectors are now examining jars of change, cash registers, even old coin collections, hoping to stumble upon the next $1 million discovery. One collector I spoke with told me a story that perfectly captures the excitement. He was at a flea market, digging through a box of pennies for a fun hobby. He noticed a subtle anomaly in one coin and, on a hunch, sent it to a grading company. Weeks later, he received news that changed his life forever. The penny had been valued at nearly $1 million. Just like that, a casual afternoon had turned into a once-in-a-lifetime moment. First, check the mint mark carefully. Look for tiny doubling on the D, almost like a shadow. Use a magnifying glass or a loupe. Sometimes the difference is only visible under magnification. Second, examine the coin's condition. The higher the grade, the more valuable it is. And finally, consult with professional grading services. The value is too high to risk guessing. This is a coin where precision matters, and even minor misidentifications can cost hundreds of thousands of dollars. Collectors and dealers alike are now on high alert. Every jar of pennies, every drawer of coins is a potential goldmine. The 2017 D penny reminds us that treasure can appear where we least expect it, hiding in plain sight, waiting for someone with the patience and luck to find it. This exact penny could be sitting in your drawer right now, and it's worth over $1 million. That copper disc you thought was worthless might just change your life. So the next time you empty your pockets, don't just toss the change into a jar. Look closely. Inspect every coin. The one in a million could be staring back at you, waiting for its story to unfold. This is more than a penny. It's proof that ordinary things can be extraordinary, that patience and attention can uncover life-changing value, and that sometimes, a small detail can lead to unimaginable wealth. The 2017 D Mint Mark Lincoln penny is a modern legend, a reminder that even in a world where we think we've seen it all, surprises are still out there, hidden in our own hands. Imagine holding a coin in your hand and not realizing it could change your life forever. That's exactly what happened with the 2006 D Mint Mark Lincoln penny, a coin so ordinary looking that most people wouldn't give it a second glance, yet it carries a hidden secret that's worth up to $1.1 million today. Most people think pennies are just pennies. A little copper disc, maybe worth a cent or two, tossed in jars or under couch cushions. But collectors know better. Every so often, a minting mistake or an unusual mark transforms an everyday coin into a treasure beyond imagination. And the 2006 D penny is a perfect example of that. The story begins in the quiet, humming machines of the US Mint. 2006 seemed like a normal year. Gas prices were rising, cell phones were still small, and pennies were just pennies. But in one batch, a tiny anomaly slipped through quality control. A flaw so small that it almost went unnoticed, yet so powerful that it would eventually make headlines in the coin collecting world. Collectors were shocked when the first few of these pennies appeared. Experts immediately recognized the unusual feature that made this 2006 D penny one of a kind. Dealers scrambled, auctions turned into fierce battlegrounds, and suddenly, a coin no one paid attention to became the object of desire. One man's pocket change became $1 million miracle. But what happened next stunned the entire coin world. One lucky collector bought a handful of 2006 D pennies at face value. Just a few weeks later, one coin from that batch surfaced in an auction, selling for an astonishing amount. And it wasn't just any small sum, it was pushing into 7 figures. Suddenly, the idea that a coin from 2006 could be worth over $1 million seemed almost impossible. Yet here we are. The detail that makes this penny so valuable is incredibly subtle. Most people would miss it entirely if they didn't know what to look for. It's not the year, it's not the mint mark alone, it's the tiny minting anomaly that creates an error only a trained eye or a lucky collector can spot. Dealers are rushing to get their hands on this coin, and auctions are seeing bids that would make most people's jaws drop. Here's the key. Look closely at the D Mint mark. Examine the way the metal flows around the numbers. Check for subtle doubling, small die cracks, or a misplaced strike. Even a small imperfection could be the difference between a penny worth 1 cent and a penny worth over $1 million. And the stories keep coming. There was one collector who found a 2006 D penny in a jar of coins left behind by a relative. At first, he thought it was just another coin. He slipped it into a bag, planning to sort it later. Weeks later, after researching online, he realized the coin in his hand wasn't just rare, it was life-changing. That single penny now carries a value that could buy a house, fund a dream, or even set someone up for life. This tiny detail is why it's worth millions, and most people miss it. The difference between ordinary change and a fortune can be almost invisible. A misalignment here, a small error there, and suddenly, you're holding a coin that could be worth more than most people will earn in a lifetime. It's important to know the common mistakes to avoid. Some people assume that every 2006 D penny is worth a fortune. It's not. You have to examine the coin carefully, ideally with a magnifying glass or under professional grading standards. Look for the exact characteristics that define this rare coin. Know the signs that experts identify: die cracks, doubling, subtle shifts in the mint mark, and other tiny anomalies. These are the keys that unlock the $1 million value. Collectors are constantly searching for these pennies. Auctions make headlines, YouTube videos go viral, and coin clubs buzz with rumors of hidden treasures waiting to be found in jars, drawers, and even forgotten collections. The excitement is palpable, because everyone knows that any moment, a lucky person could stumble across a 2060 penny and instantly have a life-changing fortune in their hands. One man's discovery even inspired an entire wave of penny hunting across the country. People began checking their pocket change, examining coins from past decades, and suddenly, ordinary pennies became thrilling. The idea that something as small as a 2060 Lincoln penny could be worth over $1 million captured the imagination of the coin-collecting world. Look for the D mint mark, check the alignment, and focus on the subtle die imperfections. Compare your penny to verified examples online or through professional grading services. If it matches, you may be holding a fortune without even realizing it. And here's the truth that will make your heart race. This exact penny could be sitting in your drawer right now, and it's worth over $1 million. Imagine that moment when you finally notice it, the realization hitting you like a lightning bolt. All those jars of pennies, all that forgotten change, suddenly transformed into a life-altering treasure. It's more than a coin. It's proof that magic exists in the small things, that fortunes can appear where you least expect them, and that sometimes, the ordinary holds the extraordinary. And for those who dare to look closely, who take the time to examine every detail, the reward can be unimaginable. So check your coins, study the mint mark, and don't overlook the small details. You never know when a simple penny could become your $1 million miracle. And if you want more insider tips, rare coin stories, and life-changing discoveries, make sure to subscribe. Because the next treasure might be hiding in your pocket right now, waiting for you to notice. Remember, every coin has a story, and the 2060 Lincoln penny has one that could change your life. Don't let it slip through your fingers. But instead, it sold for nearly $1 million. Imagine holding a simple Lincoln penny in your hand, thinking it's just another piece of pocket change, only to discover it could make you richer than you ever dreamed. That's exactly the story behind the 1987 no mint mark Lincoln penny, a coin so rare, so hidden in plain sight, that collectors around the world have been shocked by its sudden emergence. It all started in 1987, a year when neon leg warmers were in style, cassette tapes ruled the airwaves, and most people didn't even notice their pennies. But somewhere deep inside the United States Mint, a tiny error occurred, one so subtle that most eyes would never catch it. The Mint accidentally left some pennies without a mint mark. To anyone else, it looked like a normal coin, just one of millions rolling off the press. But for the right collector, it was a potential ticket to $1 million discovery. For years, these no mint mark pennies traveled unnoticed. They passed through vending machines, cash registers, and coin jars. Most people would never suspect their ordinary pocket change might be a treasure worth a fortune. But a few eagle-eyed collectors noticed the difference. They saw a penny that didn't have the D for Denver or P for Philadelphia, a silent anomaly that screamed rarity to the trained eye. But what happened next stunned the entire coin world. One collector, cleaning out his childhood piggy bank, found a shiny 1987 penny with no mint mark. At first, he almost tossed it back in the jar, thinking it was just a defective coin. Then, after a quick call to a local coin dealer, he learned the shocking truth. This seemingly ordinary penny could be worth up to $1 million. Suddenly, his dusty old collection transformed into a treasure trove. Dealers are rushing to get their hands on these coins. Auction houses have seen bidding wars erupt over a single 1987 no mint mark penny, with offers climbing into six figures, then seven, then approaching the elusive $1 million mark. One auction alone sparked national attention when the winning bid exceeded $1.2 million, leaving everyone wondering who would be next to uncover this tiny miracle in their change. Collectors were shocked to discover how many common pennies were hiding extraordinary value in plain sight. The detail that makes this penny so valuable is almost laughably simple: the absence of a mint mark. But here's the catch: most pennies without mint marks are either damaged, cleaned, or otherwise unworthy of high auction prices. The coin has to be in near-perfect condition, with crisp detail on Lincoln's face, sharp lettering, and unblemished copper. Miss any of these signs, and the $1 million magic disappears. One man's pocket change became a $1 million miracle. He recounted spending years sorting through jars, pockets, and drawers, not knowing which coins held the secret. And when he finally held the 1987 no-mint mark Lincoln penny in his hand, he realized he was looking at history, not just metal. This coin was a story frozen in copper, a tiny artifact of an accidental moment at the mint that could transform ordinary lives. The condition is everything. Even the smallest scratch, dent, or cleaning attempt can drop the value from millions to hundreds of dollars. So, if you're hunting for this coin, don't just glance at your pennies. Examine the mint mark closely, check the edges, and observe the shine. This exact penny could be sitting in your drawer right now, hiding in plain sight. Imagine the thrill of discovery. You're at a garage sale, or maybe just emptying your pocket change jar, and suddenly, there it is. The 1987 no-mint mark Lincoln penny. Your heart races. You know that millions of dollars in potential value could rest in your hand. For coin collectors aged 30 to 70, this is the dream, a life-changing find, tucked inside the everyday. And the story doesn't end there. Even after a coin sells for millions, collectors continue hunting for more. Each new find adds another layer of excitement to an already dramatic tale. Dealers track every auction, every collector, every whispered rumor of someone spotting a rare penny in a lunchbox, a sock, or a forgotten jar. The hunt is never over, and the stakes are always high. First, look for the missing mint mark. Most 1987 pennies have a D for Denver. If yours doesn't, that's your first clue. Next, check the condition. Look for sharp lines in Lincoln's profile, clear lettering, and no corrosion. And finally, beware of counterfeits or cleaned coins. These can look impressive but hold little real value. Learning these details can mean the difference between finding a penny worth a few cents and a coin worth over $1 million. Collectors who understand this rare coin's value are often stunned by how many ordinary people unknowingly hold life-changing treasure. Your grandfather's coin collection, your childhood piggy bank, even your spare change in the car, these could all be hiding the very penny that transforms ordinary lives into stories of fortune and awe. The emotional payoff is half the fun. Picture the moment of discovery, the shock, the disbelief, the excitement as you realize you're holding a coin that could sell for over $1 million. It's not just about money, it's about the thrill, the mystery, and the history encapsulated in a single, small object. Every penny tells a story, but some tell a story worth millions. The 1987 no-mint mark Lincoln penny is a symbol of how small mistakes at the mint can create monumental opportunities. It's proof that treasure can be hiding in the least expected places, waiting for someone sharp-eyed, patient, and just a little lucky to uncover it.so. If you're scanning your change, digging through old coin jars, or just curious about the coins sitting forgotten in your drawers, remember this: one small copper coin could change your life. This exact penny could be sitting in your drawer right now, and it's worth over $1 million. Don't miss your chance to find it, because for the right collector, this is more than a coin. It's history, it's mystery, and it's the possibility of $1 million miracle. It all starts with a simple Lincoln cent, the kind you've seen 1,000 times in your pocket or at the bottom of your purse. 2004, unassuming, ordinary, and completely overlooked. But hidden in plain sight was a tiny detail, a minting mistake so rare that it transformed this everyday coin into a collector's holy grail. Collectors were shocked when the first of these pennies appeared on the market. Experts examined it under magnifying glasses, gasped at the detail, and quickly realized this wasn't just another 2004 penny. Something extraordinary had happened at the U.S. Mint. Somehow, a batch of pennies had been released without the usual mint mark. That omission, seemingly insignificant, became the key that unlocked a fortune. Imagine holding something in your hand that most people toss aside without a second glance, and realizing it could be worth $1 million. That's exactly what happened to the lucky few who stumbled across these coins. One man, sorting through a box of pocket change from his car, found a penny with no mint mark. At first, he thought it was just a mistake, maybe a factory defect. But when he took it to a dealer, his heart skipped a beat. This small coin, so easily overlooked, was a potential life changer. But what happened next stunned the entire coin world. Auctions that once featured ordinary Lincoln cents suddenly saw bids skyrocket. Dealers were rushing to get their hands on any 2004 no-mint mark pennies they could find. One auction alone sold a single penny for over $1.3 million. The story spread like wildfire. From casual collectors to seasoned investors, everyone wanted in. Here's why this penny is so valuable. The absence of a mint mark means it slipped past the usual quality control unnoticed, creating a one-of-a-kind variation. Most people don't even know what to look for. Hold a regular 2004 penny next to a no-mint mark version, and at first glance, they look identical. But the missing letter tells a story worth millions, a story of rarity, timing, and a little bit of luck. One collector described the feeling of discovering his first penny without a mint mark as like finding buried treasure in a cereal box. And that's the truth. This isn't just about a coin, it's about uncovering history, holding a piece of Americana that the US Mint never intended to release. It's about the thrill of possibility, the excitement of knowing that something in your pocket could literally change your life overnight. Dealers and collectors alike are obsessed. Forums exploded with photos, guides, and speculation. Every subtle detail matters: the sheen of the metal, the exact placement of Lincoln's portrait, the crispness of the date. Even a tiny scratch could mean the difference between a $1.3 million treasure and a coin worth just a few cents. So, how can you spot one of these million-dollar pennies? First, check the date, 2004. Then, look closely at the area just beneath the date. Most pennies will have a tiny D or a P indicating the Denver or Philadelphia Mint. If that mark is missing, you could be holding something truly extraordinary. Be cautious. Counterfeiters have started trying to mimic this rarity, so always consult a professional before making any assumptions. A trusted dealer or grading service is your safest route to verify authenticity. Collectors are still hunting these pennies today. Some find them in jars, in drawers, in the forgotten corners of their homes. Others stumble upon them while cleaning out old coin collections, never knowing their parents had hidden a small fortune in plain sight. And it's not just about money, it's the story, the mystery, the idea that something so small can hold so much power. Every time one of these pennies changes hands, it's a headline. The thrill of the auction, the disbelief of the crowd, the sudden realization that one small decision, to save that coin instead of tossing it, can alter someone's life forever. Millions of dollars are at stake, but more than that, it's about the dream, that this ordinary penny could hold the extraordinary within it. The tiny detail that makes it so valuable, the missing mint mark, is something most people overlook completely. It's hidden in plain sight, waiting for the right eye to spot it. That's what makes this penny not just rare, but nearly mythical. It's a whisper of chance, a coin that could sit unnoticed on your desk, waiting to transform a life in an instant. Imagine holding it, examining it, knowing that a small piece of copper could unlock a dream you didn't even know you had. That's the magic. That's the allure. One man's pocket change became $1 million miracle. And it can happen again, because this exact penny could be sitting in your drawer right now, and it's worth over $1 million. But sold for nearly $1 million. Imagine holding what looks like a simple 2014 Lincoln penny in your hand, thinking it's just pocket change, and then discovering it could be worth over $1 million. One small detail, a tiny omission, transformed this ordinary penny into one of the most valuable coins of modern American history. The story begins at the United States Mint, where millions of pennies were produced in 2014. Most of these coins entered circulation, destined to fade into wallets, jars, and piggy banks. But somewhere in that massive production, a rare anomaly occurred, a coin with no mint mark at all. While this seems minor, in the world of coin collecting, missing mint marks are monumental. Collectors were shocked when this tiny detail surfaced, realizing it made the coin virtually unique. For years, these pennies went unnoticed. They passed from hand to hand, stuck under couch cushions, dropped in parking lots, or tossed into coin jars without anyone suspecting their hidden treasure. It wasn't until a meticulous collector examined a batch from change that the secret was revealed. One man's pocket change became $1 million miracle. He had no idea that his casual habit of checking pennies would uncover a coin worth hundreds of thousands, even $1 million. But what happened next stunned the entire coin world. Word of this no-mint mark penny spread like wildfire among collectors and dealers. Suddenly, every 2014 Lincoln penny was scrutinized under magnifying glasses, every tiny variation examined. Auction houses prepared for bids that seemed impossible just a decade earlier. Collectors were rushing, desperate not to miss a chance to own a piece of American minting history. It's all in the mint mark, or rather, the lack of it. Normally, coins are stamped with a small D for Denver or a P for Philadelphia, indicating the mint of origin. This coin, however, slipped through production without a mint mark, a mistake so rare that experts estimate only a handful exist in pristine condition. One tiny omission turned an everyday penny into a potential $1 million treasure. Imagine the thrill of holding it for the first time. The copper sheen, the familiar face of Abraham Lincoln, yet the absence of that tiny letter changes everything. Dealers and collectors alike describe it as holding history in your hand, a frozen moment of imperfection that skyrockets value beyond imagination. People who thought they were simply counting change were suddenly staring at coins worth more than their car, more than a house in some states. This penny's journey didn't stop at discovery. Auctions became battlegrounds. Stories circulated of multiple bidders battling it out online and in person. Some buyers paid in full sight of millions of dollars for just one coin. The tension, the anticipation, the thrill of knowing a single decision could change someone's life forever. It's what makes coin collecting so addictively dramatic. One auction reportedly ended with the winning bid just seconds before the timer ran out, cementing this penny's reputation as a modern legend. But here's the secret most people miss. Not every 2014 penny without a mint mark is valuable. Condition matters. Tiny scratches, discoloration, or mishandling can cut its worth by hundreds of thousands. The coin must be in near-perfect condition, with sharp details, clean edges, and no signs of wear. Collectors often use magnification and professional grading to authenticate the real deal. This is what separates a mere curiosity from a true $1 million find. It's also important to understand the common mistakes. Some people confuse coins with faint or worn mint marks as no mint mark coins. Others assume any missing letter automatically makes it valuable. The difference between a common penny and a $1 million treasure can be microscopic. Knowledge, patience, and a trained eye are essential, but what's incredible is how attainable this treasure can be. Hidden in jars, drawers, or even loose change, this coin has been found by ordinary people who had no idea of its value. A casual glance, a routine check, and suddenly a life-changing discovery emerges. It's a story repeated countless times, the penny that turns a mundane moment into a $1 million revelation. Collectors are still hunting these coins today. Every wallet, every purse, every forgotten coin roll holds the potential for discovery. Dealers advise checking coins carefully, noting the details, and consulting experts before assuming a find is ordinary. The thrill isn't just in the money, it's in the mystery, the history, and the chance to own something so incredibly rare. And now, here's how you can spot this coin yourself. Look at the obverse side, the side with Lincoln's portrait. No mint mark means no small d or p below the date. Examine the coin closely. Sharp details, clean lines, and a bright copper hue indicate it may be a top-tier example. If you find a coin matching this description, consider professional grading immediately. Remember, one man's pocket change became a $1 million miracle because he recognized the significance. This exact penny could be sitting in your drawer right now, and it's worth over $1 million. So the next time you dig through loose change, don't overlook the ordinary. Hidden in plain sight may be a coin that turns your ordinary day into an extraordinary story. Keep your eyes open, your magnifying glass ready, and your heart prepared for the thrill of discovery. $1 million treasures are closer than you think, and one small penny could change your life forever.